starting the recording on my end
Okay.
now. So just a little bit background about me. My name is Tony Sanfilippo. I come from the ranks of middle school. So I taught middle school and then was part of the admin team for 19 years. And I have pretty much done whatever the principal has asked me to do over time. So I've done at-risk math, I've done electives, I've done all kinds of things. So just realize as I talk about this stuff that I am a teacher first, and then I am kind of a trainer second. So in my heart, I'm still a teacher. So if I talk about teachers, it's about myself as well. I'm not talking about you guys specifically, just from my experiences as an educator. So the goal for today is to cover the agenda that is on that Learning Begins with Hearing slide. These, sorry, the main thing is to give you what you need. So when you go into the classroom, you'll be able to use what's there. There is a lot more to this, and I'm sure that there'll be more opportunities to get more training as we kind of get further through the year. Are we not seeing my PowerPoint?
I see your PowerPoint. Someone was asking if they were supposed to see you, but I was telling them no, just the PowerPoint.
Okay, all right, I was confused.
Okay.
And I'll put it back up. There we go. So I normally do my audio first and then I go into the camera, but I know everybody's dying to hear and see about the camera. So I'm going to flip it up and I'm going to jump straight to the camera part and then go back to the audio piece. But I want you to be able to use your microphones when you walk in the door. So that's really important. And then I know you guys are all interested in being able to use your cameras. So we'll do that. Let me just jump ahead and then I'll go back. All right, so the camera piece is called ViewPath. And ViewPath is Video Interactive Educational Window. So it's a window to your classroom. And it was designed a while ago specifically for professional development. And then, of course, creating content and using the camera for that, it was kind of a side benefit. But now it's kind of flip-flopped. Now, the content piece, because of our current situation, has become the primary tool, and the professional development we'll get to that when we have time. So we're going to not cover any of the professional development portions, but focus on you being able to use this as a content tool with your students. The very beginning thing is that this is all teacher controlled. It's not meant to be a big brother tool. That this is the teacher interface. You as the teacher decide who has access to this interface. If you do share a classroom, you will both share this interface. So it's, just like you can't put things away that are on your bulletin board, each one of you both have full access to this interface. When you do create recordings, they go into the cloud, into the Torch Talent portion, and then these recordings are private until they're shared. So same thing. These are your recordings. No one can come through and kind of just scroll through your recordings and see what you have in there. The first piece of the camera that everybody wants to see is the live portion. You'll be given your district credentials and the address that you go to log in. You use Chrome whenever you're using the ViewPath system. So they'll give you the address and the link, and then you'll be able to log in with your district credentials. And I don't have the links for the new schools yet, but Brad Underwood should be getting them out to everybody, or getting them to your PD department so they can get them out. Then you select live, and then you're able to use it in that camera that's in the ceiling in Zoom, Teams, or Google Meet. Specifically, we'll talk about Teams, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm gonna skip those. The other thing you can do with the camera is to create content. So we can create recordings. We're able to give those recordings metadata so they can be organized, they can be put in.
What were you doing?
And then you're able to then deliver these to your students via your LMS, which in this case would be Canvas. And I'm kind of doing an overview, and then I'm going to open it up live and walk you through what it looks like. So you're able to record a couple of different ways, and you are recording the actual camera that you would see in your live feed. However you set this up is what the recording would look like. So the first place you can record is by pressing the record button on the microphone. And if you press that button, it will initiate a recording, and it will record for up to 90 minutes or until you press that button again. One of the things this does, when you press the button to press record, the power light on your audio enhancement receiver goes from green to amber. And then when you press it to stop the recording, it goes back to green. So that kind of gives you the cue as the teacher, yes, I started my recording. One caveat about this is if you do share your room with multiple people, you'll see on the Share To tab the list of people. The system can't know who pressed the button. So it will always go to the person in the top. So if you're sharing your room with each other, this may not be the most convenient way to record. If you don't share your room with anybody, this is an excellent way to start and stop recordings on the fly. You're able to create schedules. So this can repeat and schedule. I can record first period every day or at 10 o'clock every day if that's what I needed to happen. I can also record a schedule one time. So if I have a guest speaker coming in, I can record that or record some content if I have it scheduled. The start button will do the same thing as the record button, except for it will know who clicked it because you're logged in when you click the start button. So if you share your room with somebody, the start button may be the best way to do a quick recording, so to make sure it comes to you and you don't have to worry about that person sharing it back to you. The last way to record is with the start button again, but with this toggle on like it is now. And that creates what we're calling a lecture capture. So when you click the start button with that toggle on, it will record the camera, but will also record your desktop in a side-by-side video. So what that looks like is this here. So if I had toggled on the lecture capture and I click start recording, I am going to get my camera feed at the same time I am capturing my desktop. And then the output is a video that looks like this one at the bottom, where you can see the video on the left and your PowerPoint or whatever content you are presenting on the right. And this is one video that's made as a side-by-side. One of the things that's really important to understand is that the live function, which is on the left, is totally independent of the recording functions on the right. So that live or that side-by-side is not a live broadcast function. It is only a recording function. And I'll show you that in the interface in just a second. So this is an example of that video.
Audio enhancement is your complete campus solution for communication. We have classroom audio for your teacher to student communication. We have the Epic system, which is intercom, bell.
So I just stopped that, but one of the things that I thought was super interesting and cool, if you've never done this, PowerPoint will automatically translate and closed caption their slides for you live on the fly. So as I was talking in English, it was closed captioning and translating to Spanish, which I thought is really interesting. And closed captioning is shown to have a lot of effect, even if it's just English to English, that the text of what you say is showing up with the slide, could be helpful. But because of ViewPath and the way we're able to capture all that, we're able to see all of it, the camera feed and the PowerPoint or whatever other content you wanted to have on the right-hand side. And that is a recording function. You are also able to record two other ways besides with the camera itself. You're able to record with an app, and that app is called torchtalent.com or Torch Talent. And so it is iOS and Google Play, so it'll work on both devices. The really nice thing about the app is it's not fancy. It just records and uploads. It will upload directly to the same place where your classroom camera goes. So you don't have to worry about how do I get it off my phone into Teams, because the process will be the same whether it's your in-class camera or your app. The other thing you're able to do is if you have a web camera, you are able to record with the web camera right built in the platform. And so that will also upload right to my workshop. So you have 3 different ways to record. You're able, and it will all end up in the same location with just the one click. So when you click stop on any of the 3 of these, it automatically then uploads to the one location. You don't have to worry about where did my video go? How do I get it there? How can I use it? So that's one of the real convenience of the system. So let me bring up this. So this room is dark because this actual camera is in Salt Lake City and they're 2 hours behind us. So normally it's a much better view, but this is actually our demo server that's located in the cloud. And then I am able to control this camera through the system. Your system, you can only get to this portion of the interface from within the school district. You cannot get to the camera itself from home. And you have some capabilities when you're in here. First of all, I'm looking at room 115. The one in red at the top is the room you're actually viewing. And the reason that could change is because if you're a teacher who floats, you may have multiple rooms listed. And you would just click on the room you would like to view, and this kind of tells you exactly which room am I looking at this moment. On the Share To tab, you can see everybody who has access to this camera. So normally, there's just your name there. In this case, I have my whole sales team and some engineers are in this room. And so we all kind of share this demo server. But if I needed to add somebody, I click the plus, I can find their name in the list, and I don't have very many names because they're all already added, but as they're added, they're removed from the list, and then I click save. If I add somebody, I could then just check the box and click the minus and remove them at any time as well. So as a teacher, I'll be able to tell who has access to this classroom, which in most cases will be just you, and then you are able to add and remove people as needed. You don't really see people get added too often. Usually the one I see gets added most is like a counselor or a learning resource specialist who's helping write an IEP and they want to observe a student. That's one way I see it gets used, where somebody gets added occasionally. The camera itself has some controls. I can open and close the lens. I can pan, tilt, and zoom with these controls here, and by clicking on it, makes it come away and go. And as I am adjusting this camera, and like I said, the lights are off, so the video is not going to be that crisp in this, but you saw what the video looked like in my video I played. You have the choice between the ambient microphone and the XD microphone, or the microphone you're wearing for the audio in the stream or in the recording. The ambient microphone is really good. It's almost too good. So if you have multiple conversations going on or a lot of student movement, you're going to hear all of that, which usually doesn't make good audio for a recording or a broadcast. You heard the microphone I was wearing on the recording I played. It's very clear. There's very little background noise, and you have that capability. But when you're on the microphone, you're not really going to hear the students. So we kind of have to go back to, we have a couple choices. We can use the second microphone for the students if we're able to do that. or you're going to have to go back to the old, when a student asks a question, you repeat that question so everybody can hear it. Anybody who is online and anybody that's in the room. You have a couple other choices besides the single view that you're looking at here. You have a double panoramic. So when I click on this, it's going to change the camera. It takes about 10 to 15 seconds for that to happen. And that's because it turns off the stream, it makes a camera change, it turns the stream back on, and then it will retranscode that stream and send it to your computer so you can see it. And it takes a little bit. If it doesn't refresh, because sometimes on the network things happen like that, you can actually click on the image, and then when you click on it again, it will send a signal back out to the camera to grab that new fresh stream. But it should refresh automatically, but you can see occasionally that happens. It happens a little bit more often to me in the demo because they, this is on the internet, and yours won't be on the internet. It'll just be on your internal network. But you notice the little pan, tilt, and zoom adjustments are gone. The double panoramic does not allow you to adjust the view. This is your room, front and back. There are no blind spots. If you do have people sitting right in where the split is, they may be hard to see. And if you notice, this is coming from a fisheye lens. It is a little warped in the corners, but that's kind of like what you have to be able to get the whole room into the view. But if you look at this desk right here in the top right, the front of that desk is cut off. That is the same desk that is over here. So you're getting the entire room, everything is captured. You also have a quad view, and this one will have 4 controls because each one of the quads are independently controlled. So I can adjust these independently and set this up how I want it to be viewed. And each one of them can be adjusted. What normally happens in a classroom is a teacher picks the view, sets up the camera, and then kind of leaves it that way for that lesson, knowing where they set it up and how they set it up, then knowing when they're on camera, when they're not on camera. But in most cases, the single view is the most commonly used one when you're talking about delivering remotely or creating content. And sometimes other people jump in the server at the same time. So if we see things move or change, there's a good chance someone else may be in this showing it to another group. So that is everything about adjusting your camera and kind of being able to set it up. However you set it up and leave it is what you will get in the live view and also what you will get when you do recordings. So for the live feed, there has to be some software that is installed on your computer. And we've given that out to IT, so I'm hoping that they've pre-installed that all for you. It is in the help section. If you have the ability or the rights to install, ViewPath Live Installer, we have a Mac version and a 32 and 64-bit PC version. Most of you, if you're on a PC, very, very few people have a 32-bit. That's a pretty old computer, but most of you are on 64. When you click live, it launches the software and programs that on your computer. Now, what it does for live, it streams from the computer, from your camera to your computer. It doesn't actually go out to the internet. So it's allowing you to use this camera live. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is live at that moment. To go live, you have to actually launch your Teams first. So I'm gonna go ahead and start a team session. I closed mine so I didn't get any pop-ups during this training. And then what I can do is I can go into my settings, and I'm going to go to devices, and I'm going to make 2 changes. One change is going to be, I'm going to change the audio to the AE EduCam. not the speakers. Microphone, sorry. To the AE Educam, and then I'm gonna change the camera from my, if I have a camera on my computer, you'll have a default camera, or if you have a USB camera plugged in, you'll see it here as well. And I will change that to the AE Educam. And then when I do a Zoom meeting, I will be getting the camera feed that is from that room broadcast through my Zoom. So instead of it being the headshot that you see of me, you would see the feed from that classroom. And I can do this in Zoom as well. So if I change that to the AE Educam, you'll see my headshot is gone. If you can see the participants there, and it is now the camera from the front of the room. What does that do for you? It allows you to kind of be in the front of the room and teach the students that are in front of you. At the same time, the students at home will be seeing you. You can then also toggle, or the students can toggle back and forth between your shared screen and you in the front of the room. So they can have a choice, basically. I can look at the content that is being presented on the board, or I can look at the teacher at the front of the room, where I'm not gonna see the content quite as well, you know, because it's kind of, but you can see where the teacher's pointing, you can see their mannerisms. And I'm sure all of you already know teaching is much more about relationships than it is about content. And actually seeing the teacher actually impacts that, opposed to like a slideshow that's just voiced over. Like we can create content right now with our voice on it, but it's really hard to see the teacher as they're teaching. So Teams is really easy. The cool thing about these video conferencing is once you set it up and you closed it, the next time you open it, it will automatically choose that camera and the microphone. I'm gonna quit my Teams. Now, this was set up as a demo. It's not actually capturing the camera from Utah, but it gives you the example of what it would look like. And all I had to do was go to my camera feed and change my setting to the other camera, the AE Educam, and it will flip to that live feed. Why do we change the microphone? The microphone captures the audio then from the camera, which is either the microphone you're going to be wearing or the ambient microphone. But this camera is on your network. So it is there is influences on how quickly that gets to the students. So it is usually about a second to a second and a half behind really true live. So by switching the miphophone, it keeps the audio and video in sync. So that way, as the teacher's talking and they're doing things, it all happens together. If somebody was demoing it and it was out of sync, you would think it's not that bad. But if somebody's watching for 15 or 20 minutes and it's out of sync, it becomes very straining on the person viewing that. So it's really important that you switch the microphone as well. It will also give you much better quality. It will also mean that you don't have to be near your computer for them to hear you, right? Because otherwise we're using the microphone that's built into the computer. So it's really important that when you click live and then you launch your software, you're going to change those two pieces, your microphone to AE Educam and the camera to AE Educam in order to use that camera feature. I normally pause right here to see if there's any questions on live. I don't think I've seen anything come up in the chat. I've been kind of looking at it as it's been rolling, but
so far I haven't seen any questions.
Excuse me, Mr. Tony.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I don't see where they even put the question, anything in there, and I don't even know how the person first get to the camera setup. I think that's my question.
All right, that's good. So you will be getting. So this is my demo server. It's the link. It's in the address at the top of the page in Chrome. You will be getting this link from your IT department. I don't think I haven't received what your links are at your individual sites. So that will come out to you probably via email with, here's the link. Here's what it looks like, a video for the first time. You log in and then you'll be able to access that. And it's just a web page in Chrome.
Okay.
Tony.
Yes.
they wanted to know if I go live, where do my students watch? Would the students watch through?
Oops. I didn't mean to mute you. Sorry about that. I heard some background noise. Can you come back on and repeat that? I'm sorry.
If I go live as a teacher, where do my students watch? Would they watch through Teams or would they watch through Zoom? And I know for Bibb County, if they would be watching through Teams.
Correct. They would be what? So yeah. So the live allows you to use your camera in whatever video platform or video conferencing platform your district chooses, which in this case would be Teams. So we're not really changing your process. We're just adding this camera as an option to choose. So yeah, and then all the functioning that you have in Teams, whether, you know, if you use that to export your user list to take attendance, or you do, you know, however that interaction works through Teams still is the same. We don't control any of that. By clicking live, what it does is allows you to pick the AE Educam in Teams. So that, I guess, you know, we call it ViewPath Live. It gives you the ability to use it live. It doesn't actually broadcast outside the school. It just goes from the camera to your computer. You have to use either Teams or another platform to actually broadcast. In your case, the standard is going to be Teams.
So just for clarification, then what I would be doing is essentially kind of posting that link, that video link, for the students to be able to access it and view it?
The Teams meeting, yes.
Gotcha, thank you.
And then when you start your Teams meeting, before you start your Teams, you would come here, log in, click live, and then you would see in your, if you're on a PC, it's in your tray. If you're on a Mac, it's at the top. You will see a green icon that will show you that, yes, live is running and it's working. One of the things we've done in this is we've set this up so this will stay active for 8 hours. So what does that mean to you guys as teachers? And it was my thought process on how it might get used. Once you click live, you can actually close your Chrome browser. You don't need to leave this open, as long as the camera is set the way you want it. Because what happens in a lot of classrooms is teachers come in the morning, they get their stuff organized and set up for the day, because we only have a limited amount of time between classes for transition. So what we didn't want you to have to do is log in between every period and start a new live session. So when you come in the morning, you could log in, click live. This live feature will stay active on your computer for up to 8 hours. And then every time you go to Teams, it would already be there. Yes.
Someone said, could we walk through the settings in Teams to switch microphone and camera, and how are the links created?
So how the links are created, I'm not a Teams expert as far as creating the meeting in Teams. I'm not sure where that Teams training is happening, but how to change the settings, I'm gonna go through that again. So I launched my Teams, and then my icon, my profile is in the top right-hand corner. And I can then do settings, and it will open up the settings for Teams. And when I go to devices, that's where I can switch my microphone and I can switch my camera. And so this one remembered already. It remembered the last time I was here, I switched it. It kept it on those two. So it's just, you need to understand. So if you don't need to use this and you're in a different meeting, you might need to come back and switch back to your regular camera. So, but you have that capability. And it's always in your settings and devices. One of the things I did notice in Teams, like I said, I'm not the Teams expert as far as that, but if you're using the web version of Teams, it does not always show you your devices until you made a call. If you're using an installed version of Teams, it will always be there. So until you may not see your device options if you're using a web version until it's actually launched, that you're actually in a meeting. But in the installed version, it should always be there. So now, as far as Canvas and Teams, I'm not an expert on that integration as well, but I will show you how to get your recordings into Canvas. But I know there is a way to take your meeting in Teams and post that link into Canvas, so that's where the students would receive it. That process, I'm not exactly sure about. So, but I know that does exist, and I'm sure there's going to be more Teams training beyond what you're getting from me. That's pretty much all of the live function. If you, the other thing you can do, if you didn't want to leave this going for 8 hours, if you click on the green icon, it will quit and then it's gone. If you have to switch rooms, you can switch rooms, and when you click live, it will refresh with the correct settings for the new room. And Teams also does something where it will look backwards to you, but it looks regular to the people on the other side. It flips it for you for some reason, because of the left and right. They felt it looked more natural if it was mirrored. So just keep that in mind. You can flip the image in our app. You can also flip it in the Teams app, but we put it here really quickly and easily. So flipping it, meaning left and right, it gets mirrored. Occasionally, because you're on the network, the camera could get delayed more than the 1.5 seconds if you're having network issues inside the school. And if you click refresh, what that does, it brings it back to the quickest and most in sync version of that stream. So if for some reason audio or video gets out of sync, or we have some issues, it does an automatic refresh on a regular basis just to keep it, just in case that network allows it to drift off. But if for some reason, I really doubt anybody's going to have to use that, but just keep that in mind that is there. There is this fixed webcam issue is something that you would only see on a Mac, but I believe you guys are mostly PC. So this allows you, there's a security setting in Teams that will allow the webcam to, our virtual webcam to work. And if you upgrade Teams, you have to then reinitialize that security setting on a Mac. On a PC, that doesn't happen. That pretty much covers everything with the live button. So if you were to walk in your room and click live and then launch a Teams meeting, you would be able to select the AE EduCam. So the app in your phone is Torch Talent, and that will you won't be able to log into it until you have your district credentials and your account set up.
Tony,
Yes.
someone said you gave a web address for recording with your phone. Can you provide the address again?
So it's going to go to the My Workshop, which is this link on the left, and I'll give that address again when I get back over there. But the app itself is called Torch Talent. So if you're looking for the app, they won't be able to log in though until they create their account and go through that first time login session when that link comes out from Brad Underwood's team. Yes, Torch Talent. So the left, that pretty much covers the left side. The right side is your recording. I can create a schedule. So Tony, I picked my date. I want it to start on Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning. I want it to happen every day. So I know the first 20 minutes of my class every day is when I do my instruction, and I want to capture that so that I can post it to the students in Canvas. So I'm gonna, instead of recording 20 minutes, I'm gonna record 30 minutes to make sure I don't miss anything in case we start late. And now if I click add, this is gonna record starting on this date at 9 a.m. for 30 minutes every day of the week. And it will continue to record until I click this trash can and delete this off my schedule. I can have as many schedules as I want. So if I had another one that I wanted, and these recordings can be up to 90 minutes long. So I could have another one that's 30 minutes. It starts on the 19th and it goes every day. And I can have multiple schedules created. These will record. I don't have to log in. I don't have to do anything. They will just happen automatically as they're scheduled. And like I said, it will record until you've come and deleted that specific schedule. If you click start, it's going to record right at this moment. It would start right now. And it's going to record that view you see on the left. It is automatically going to capture however you've left the camera last. And then it will record until you click stop or until the 90 minutes is up. So that 90-minute length is there. And the last piece of recording in here is that lecture capture. So if I do a lecture capture and I click start recording, the first thing it's going to do is ask me, what do I want to record on my screen? So I have an application, I have Chrome, or I just want to record my entire screen. If I have this on an extended display, so I have my laptop as one, and you would see both images here to pick from. So once I pick my image and I click share, it would record my camera and this image and make one video of them side by side. And just uploads it just like that. So you're gonna get your camera, and then whatever it is, so if I pick my PowerPoint, I would be getting my PowerPoint and my camera. If I pick my screen, it's whatever I'm broadcasting. And once I click share, that recording will start.
Do they need to be trying this with their camera in their classrooms now?
They can't log in until we get them the link from IT. So I would recommend that once they get that link, they go ahead and log in, get all their accounts created. The plan is that I will probably have some an open type session where people can jump in and ask questions. I know that the coaching team has all been using this before. Monica and his team has all been trained, and so there is additional support. And also, if you go all the way to the top, there is a PD webpage, pd.audioenhancement.com, that will, in the chat, that also has some tutorial videos that can walk you through all of this as well. So there's plenty of other support, but this is not the last time I will be available. Once you've created your recording, they all automatically get uploaded to my workshop. And like I said, this portion, everything I've shown you so far here, is only available from school or on the district network. You cannot get your camera from home. You can't add schedules or start or stop recordings from home. But what you can do is go to my workshop from school or from home. So my workshop is at touristalent.com. And so you can get to that one from home as well.
Am I correct in assuming that the links for the teachers have changed? Because some of them were saying they used this last year, but now they can't log in, so all that's changed.
I would have to double check with Brad on that. I don't know how if they were able to log in last year, I would assume they could log in now. But I know there are 2 other schools that have come online that were brand new. And so that's why I was like, I didn't think everybody had the link. So, but definitely I will make note of that, because I know we're working closely with Brad. I'm not sure what changes they may have made at the school that was existing. So when a teacher logs in, they have some information that's around the outside edges of their current activity. This is an admin page, so it looks a little bit different, but you will see your 8 most recent recordings. And they're right here, so you can just kind of, your most recent ones are available. But you can also click on My Videos and Files or my videos and files in the header, and you will be able to see everything that you have in your system. And you can change this page from a few recordings to up to 99 on the page, so you can kind of scroll through them. Really quick, over here under collections is just a way to keep things organized. You can add more folders by clicking the gear and doing new collection. And then when you click on a video, you can add it to one of these folders. So you can kind of have whatever you want set up as a structure to kind of keep them organized. So that way, maybe you don't want 99, you want to just look at the content for Algebra 1 that you've been creating and see that folder as it's available there. So the biggest thing people want to be able to do is look at their video and be able to use it. So I'm going to look at this one, and I just have to click on it and it will open the video, and then I'm able to play it and watch it. I can change the title, which would make it easier for me to find by clicking the pencil. I can also add more metadata down here just for organizational purposes. The other thing that I can do is if this is a piece of content and I had other teachers who might be able to use that content, I can share that video with anybody in the list that's available at your school. And by selecting their name and clicking on it, he's already in this group. That's why it's not allowing me to add him. But you would want to share at a high level if that's content. That will allow that other teacher to leverage that video with their students. If you shared it at any other level besides high, it limits their capabilities to be able to use it. And those other two are really for professional development. And I think really the only thing right now we're worried about is you guys being able to make content and use it. So that high level will allow you to share it. If you click in there, you should see your group would be your school. So you would only see, so if you want to share it with everybody on your campus, you could select a group. You can make other groups or you can select individuals. Once it's shared, you could also put in a message and you click share. It would then send them an email saying you have a new shared video from, and the message would appear in that email as well. The other thing you're able to do if you wanted to is be able to create a second copy of that video. You can create a clip out of that video, and you can merge that video with other recordings. So if I want to do a clip, teachers are always interested in this because I want to clean up. I want to get rid of that first 5 minutes, and I want to get rid of that last 5 minutes and just keep this section of instruction. And I click the green check. And because I have comments on there, I won't get rid of them. And then it will keep your original. My original one didn't go away, but what it's doing in the videos and files now is making me a new clipped version of that is just the size of the one I want. It's named the same and adds the word clip to the end. I'll go back to that video, which was right there. The other thing, so if I've clipped a video and I have another video, I can put them together with the merge. And so what you can't do with this is clip out the middle piece, which is usually what happens, right? We have this great lesson, it's going amazing, and then Johnny loses his mind in the middle of the lesson, and I need to cut that part out. So what you would need to do is create a clip version of the front half and the back half, and then that's where you would want to use the merge function to put them back together. You can download a copy of the video. So if you wanted it on your computer, you needed a copy of the video, you can download it. There are two versions of every video. There is the original, which is the large file, and then you have a smaller compressed version. What will be coming, but is not here at the moment, is this small compressed version is very small. And there will be another link that will be placed in here that will allow you to make this smallest version a little bit bigger, so it's still nice and easily streamed and not a huge file, but the quality of that video, because it's not compressed as much, will be better. So that will be available. It'll replace the small one when you click on it. So that is going to be added here. The programmers are actually working on that function right now for you guys specifically, for BIB. The last thing, if you're familiar with Canvas, you can use Embed Codes. There is an easier way to do this, and I'm going to show you in a second. But basically, an embed code is like the ones in YouTube. You copy this code, and then you can paste it into your LMS or Canvas. But there's an easier way. We do have a really good Canvas integration, and you guys should have this. And I'm gonna go ahead and log into my Canvas test course to show you what this will look like. So this is my Canvas dashboard, and here's my test classroom. So that's my course. I want to edit this student page that they are looking at. So I have my page. I'll make this a little bit bigger with all my content on it, but I need to add a recording that I created to this page. So I can put my cursor where I want that video to appear. And then there are what's called an external tool in Canvas, and you will see Torch Talent. When you click that, it's going to actually load the library from Torch Talent. So I can do my up to 99 videos on the page. Oh, we're up here. I accidentally canceled it. I didn't realize I did it. All right. So I can see all of my videos that are available on my page. And if I wanted to add this particular video to my content page, I hit continue and embed, and it automatically does the copying, pasting, and just puts that video in for me. So how that went again is I logged into Canvas and I went to my page that I was editing, and I went to external tool, Torch Talent, and then I can see my videos, and the one I want to use, I select and hit continue, and it does all the copying and pasting for you and just adds that video to your course. So it makes it really nice and convenient because it's already embedded right here into Canvas. So you don't have to go back to My Portfolio to find your video. You can do it directly through the Canvas interface. And they are there for you to play. It does not actually move or upload or change the video. It streams it from our cloud platform. So you're able to then be able to use that in your Canvas page fairly easily. Any questions on the Canvas stuff? Or the recordings and where they show up? So we kind of, like, there's a ton here, commenting and feedback and different things. And so we're not going to get into all of that. The only things I really wanted to make sure that I covered was that you can change the name, because it makes it a lot easier, and you can add metadata because that makes it a lot easier to find. You can share the videos. So if you had multiple people creating content for one course, they can share with each other. And then you have these functions under the gear where you can kind of clip and merge and duplicate, download your video. If I wanted to put this video into a specific folder, I click Manage Collection, and then I just select the folder I want it to be in, and then click Save. And then when I go to that folder, this video would be in there. But I really just wanted to make sure you knew how to create a recording, where the videos go, and then how to use them when they come in. Now, the big thing I think is really to not confuse the recording functions with the live function. They really operate totally separately. So you can do a live and record at the same time, or they can be done independently. They really don't have anything to do with them. You can still record your meeting in Teams as well using the Teams function. Now that doesn't really have anything to do with our system, but it didn't go away as well. This is a little bit cleaner of a recording because you don't see the chat and you don't see people and different things. But and the other thing is Teams automatically compresses the video. So recordings quality is going to be dependent on bandwidth. They call it, it's adaptive. So the more bandwidth that you have, the more, the higher the quality will be. The less bandwidth that you have, the less the quality of the video will be. Where our recordings will always be consistent. It'll always be the same quality because we're recording outside of the meeting. And just as a reminder, this portion is only available at school. The My Workshop, though, will be available at torchtalent.com. And the first time you log in and create your account is when you'll be able to then log into these other peripheral, the app and the website. Logging into these uses your email address and a password you'll set up the first time you log in. Questions on anything ViewPath? I know it's a lot of information, but I tried to really focus it down to what you would want to be able to use right away.
Tony, I have a quick question. So I understand that what part you said was available only at school. And then if I have the app, if I'm, say, for example, I'm absent and I want to set a recording to record my class periods for the day, but I'm at home, am I able to do that through the app at all to schedule the recording? No, you can't schedule the recordings at all unless you're in the building.
Yes.
Got you. Okay, thank you.
The app is just kind of an easy tool for recording, and it puts the videos in the same place. Just thinking about the app and how it gets used in other places, and what I've seen is, let's say you're doing a science lab and you're not looking to capture the whole front of the room. You just want to do that lab and capture it nice close up. The app is a great tool for that. And then it ends up in the library with everything else. Or this is really kind of convenient, is that I had a teacher go grocery shopping and record herself grocery shopping, just so that she could actually did a rounding and estimating lesson from the grocery store. Basically, she recorded this and recorded that and then merged the videos, and the kids did a whole thing on estimating and rounding with her grocery shopping, which I thought was kind of, that's how teachers get, right? They get creative. So this app just gives you that flexibility that you could kind of use it, record anything, anywhere. It ends up in the same location, so then you can easily grab it in Canvas.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. So what I'm going to do now is kind of go back to the audio piece. And that's just because I really think, I'm not sure, is there a mask mandate at the MBIB and when you go to teach?
Yes.
Okay, so we've done some research on the effectiveness of the microphone with the mask, with measuring audio at frequency levels and distance, and really what it's come down to, if you use that microphone with your mask, it still gives you better clarity of audio from the speakers than it does if you were using no mask and no microphone from the front of the room. So because the microphone is so close to the mask, it picks up enough that it's actually still better than using your teacher voice, or more effective than using your teacher voice. So definitely you want to be using the microphone every day. The biggest thing about microphones is the research that is out there. I have over 105 studies in my office here, that if you look through all the research on sound field systems, and that's kind of like what our system is described as or classified, you will get increased test scores, increased retention information, fewer behavior issues, and different things. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on the research because I know Viv has been using audio for a long time. I just really want you to know how the equipment, the new equipment, the schools that are just getting new equipment know how it works. But basically, when you have distance, and I think common sense says that, yes, of course, the person farther away cannot hear as well as the person close to me. But mathematically, what happens is you lose 6 decibels every time. And by the time it gets across the room, they're below background noise. Background noise is usually somewhere around 50 decibels, 55. And at a standard speaking voice at 65 decibels, the people furthest away are going to be below that background noise. So what we want to do is, what we do as teachers is we use our teacher voice. And the biggest problem with that is that pitch, tone, and volume affect emotional response. So by using our teacher voice and changing those 3, we actually elevate the emotional level in the classroom, and it affects everybody differently. Little kids, you'll see that if you played some loud music, some of them are going to ball up. They don't want to hear it. It's too loud. Some of them are going to get super excited. So the emotional response varies, but it does elevate emotional response. So the goal is, by using distributed sound, we could keep a lower volume, that 65 decibel conversation volume, and distribute that throughout the room so that everybody's getting this nice, clear, low volume closer to them by the speaker over their head, opposed from the teacher across the room. And I'm just going to quickly go through this. The other problem with the using our teacher volume is that consonants and vowels do not project equally. So your t and your k aren't going to be as loud as your ooh and your ahs. You can make those really loud when you teach. The problem is that the meaning of words is in consonants. And as adults, we have this function called automatic auditory cognitive closure. And that's our ability to listen, not hear everything that's being said, and be able to automatically fill in those gaps. So our understanding is still the same, even though we miss pieces and parts. That part of the brain doesn't start to develop till 15. And then it is only as effective as the background knowledge they have to fill gaps with. So we get better at this as we get older. We don't realize it's happening, but this is kind of a visual example of that same process. It's not exactly the same part of the brain, but I'm sure a lot of you looked at this at first and didn't know what Tony was presenting. But this is, you know, the beginning letter and the last letter are all the same. And as you read, your background knowledge, your context clues, all of those things are automated, and you start to read through this fluently. You didn't have to get to the word university and start to decipher what that word is. And we're able to do this very easily auditorily, where our students aren't nearly as affected. So clarity of speech becomes really important. And by taking all of those things in, that's how we get this increased retention of information, higher test scores, decreased behavior issues with less distractibility, time on task. And then a really big one, of course, is vocal strain for teachers, right? That reduction really help us as teachers. As we get those first weeks of teaching, we always have those return back throat issues, sore throats, hoarseness that comes about those first couple of weeks so we come back. This is the system you're getting. So you're going to get a receiver, a teacher microphone, and then you also have a ball microphone that you can toss around with the students. Now, given the circumstances at the moment, I don't know what the recommendation is going to be about using the ball in the classroom. You know, do we really want to throw a ball around and have kids touch it and talk into it and pass it to another kid? Probably not. But the microphone that is in here is the exact same microphone that the teachers use. So you can take it out and leverage that second microphone in other ways if you need to. And I'll show you some things that you can do that with. This is basically your remote control for the system, and it does pretty much everything we need it to do. I think the biggest thing that teachers need to understand is if you are not using it, leave it on the charger. If you use it for 5 minutes, put it back on the charger at the end of the day. If you use it for 6 hours, put it back on the charger at the end of the day. It does do a slow charge. The next day you will come in and it will be ready to go for you. It has a smart charger in it. So when it gets to 100%, it shuts the charging off. So you can't overcharge it. So if, you know, whether you use it 5 minutes or 5 hours, go ahead and put it on the charger. I also, this slide is one that everybody usually wants because it's got everything on it. I'm going to break it down into smaller sections. But if you scrolled all the way to the top of the chat, there is also a link to this PowerPoint. The power button is in the bottom middle. If you hold it for a couple of seconds, it will turn on. If you momentarily tap it, it mutes. When it's muted, this on light will flash. When you hold it for 3 seconds, it will then shut everything off. So just keep that. When it's green, it's on and it's good. It's ready to go. This is kind of like the biggest thing that since you have more than one microphone in the room that you really want to pay attention to. This select button tells you what volume you are controlling. So if I hit it once, it's going to light up on. That means it's going to control the mic I'm wearing, and I can turn my volume up and down. If I hit select twice, this green light will move to other, and that means I am now adjusting the volume on that other microphone that I took out of the ball. So if I do use that for some reason, I can then, and a student is using it, maybe they're going to be doing a presentation and you want them to use the microphone, you can control their volume and tweak them as they're speaking by using your select button in other. The line input is another input on the receiver that you don't have access to. And as far as I understand at the moment, that is not being used. So that line input won't do anything. And if you hit select again, it just toggles back to the beginning. So it goes click, 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 back to the beginning and rotates through those. The number one issue with a new system is it's turned up too loud right out of the box. They seem to be too sensitive. So be sure to use your volume buttons and turn that down. If you are getting feedback, the only reason you have feedback is because it's turned up too loud. So go ahead and turn it down. If it's so loud that you cannot be in the room when you turn on the mic, step outside the door. If you're not used to the new XD technology, this will actually go through the walls and the doors. So if you're outside your room and you have not muted, then it will broadcast back into the classroom. Okay, and usually you have about a 30-foot radius from your classroom where that's going to work. But because it's an FM base, this particular mic will only transmit audio to your receiver. The other receivers ignore it. So there is no bleed over. There is no, if you leave it on as you walk down the hall, it's not going to go into other people's classrooms. The XD technology, which I'm going to go over in a few minutes, is kind of like Bluetooth. The receiver and the microphone are paired to each other. But the XD technology is more consistent to Bluetooth, and that's why we use that particular one. But be sure to use your volume controls. We'll talk about setting the appropriate volume here in a minute. The battery light. So when the battery is charged and you turn it on, it will be green while you're using your microphone. It will go yellow when it's about to die. I was in a training the other day and it was yellow. It was about 20 minutes before it turned off. So that gives you kind of an idea. If it goes yellow and your students tell you that it changed to yellow, then you know you have about 20 minutes. If you're not using it, get it back on the charger. You shouldn't have a problem getting through the whole day. This should already be set because the microphone should be paired for you already, but if for some reason you turn on the microphone and the battery light is flashing red, that does not mean you didn't charge it. It means that it is not assigned or paired to a receiver yet, or you're out of range of your receiver. It's not seeing that connection, and that's what that red flashing light means. I often get to a school and they're like, I charged mine all night and it's still not, and it's still just flashing red. It's like, well, flashing red doesn't mean it's dead. It means it's not assigned to a receiver yet. There is an auxiliary input, and this is where you might want to use that other microphone. So you can plug a 3.5 cable into the side of the microphone and then plug the other end into a headphone jack for an iPad, a laptop, a CD player, any other thing that has a headphone output. When you plug it into the side of this and you turn it on, it will then broadcast that audio wirelessly through your system. So you can use your phone, you can use anything else to send music through the system with that second microphone that's in the ball. So that may be a really good use of that. A lot of people, I see it in elementary school a lot, their small group is not at their computer station, and they want to play music for everybody else who's not in their small group to kind of keep the tone and the level of the room calm. And so you're able to do that right next to you from a device with the second microphone, and then you just have to hit the mute button and it stops, and then you can hit the mute button again and it starts. So you don't have to necessarily, people don't necessarily do that as often as they would like because they don't want to have to go back to their computer where the audio is playing from. So you can now put this right next to you. The charge light flashes red very, very slowly when it's charging, and when it gets to 100%, it will shut off. So, and when I say slowly, it's really, really slowly. So you're going to sit there, it'll be like 5 seconds before it flashes off, and then another 5 seconds before it comes on. So it's a very slow flash. If your battery is not charging and this is flashing rapidly, then there's probably an issue with the mic, and we can help get that supported. You can call the 1-800 support number, or you could use your internal ticketing system to get support to try to get that mic taken care of. All the mics come with a 5-year warranty. So if you have an issue anytime soon, make sure it gets taken care of because they'll get that swapped out for you. So your mic should be paired when you get them already to your receiver in your classroom, but if for some reason it is not, it's a fairly simple process. There is a link button on your receiver. So when you press the link button, the light to the left of it starts to flash yellow. You press and hold the record button. While holding that record button down, you then press and hold the power button. And while holding them both down until you hear a tone, and then this mic will be associated with this receiver, and none of the other receivers will get the audio from that particular microphone. So you would want to do this process if you see that flashing red and you're in your room. So if that battery light is flashing red and you're not getting any audio when you turn it on, that just means that this is not paired to the receiver that you're near. When you turn this on and that battery light goes green, you will also see the mic light go green. And then when you turn on the second microphone, you will see the second microphone go green, as long as they're paired. If you turn it on and you don't see it go green, then it's not receiving a signal. And those are just some troubleshooting tips for you to look at. The ball itself, like I said, we're probably not going to be using it, but there's a card in the box with the ball, and it walks you through the process of actually pairing the microphone and getting it put into the ball correctly. There is a power plug that gets plugged into the mic, and then there is also an audio cable that gets plugged into the mic. The ball itself has its own battery, as well as the battery that's in the microphone. So when you charge the ball, it charges the internal battery first, and then it charges the microphone battery. So I know this is probably not something you're gonna spend time on right now, so you'll probably have to revisit the card by the time you're ready to use this microphone or use this particular ball. So make sure you don't lose that. It's not really complicated, but it's also not, if you're not going to remember the process without reading it probably. setting up your audio to when you're wearing your microphone is really important so that you're getting that low level clear volume. You want to be 4 to 6 inches from your mouth. What I normally do is an L, and if I can touch my mouth and my mic, it's close enough. If I can't touch my mic, then it is too far away. It will work even if it's pulled down farther, because you're going to turn the volume up. When you turn the volume up, then you have the possibility of feedback. So it's best that it's where it needs to be. And the other thing you're going to want to do is use another adult to tell you whether the audio in there is set effectively. So what you want to do is turn it on, and just with regular conversation, have that teacher or other adult go to the other side of the room and let them tell you whether you need to turn it up or turn it down. Because we hear our voice through our nasal cavity inside of our head, we're not a good judge of an appropriate volume of our own voice. And what we tend to do is turn it up so we can hear it. And that's louder than it normally needs to be, because we are now overpowering our internal voice in order to hear that external signal. So always try to use another adult. Kids aren't just not trustworthy. I don't know why. That's kind of the quick overview on the audio. We have one more section, but I wanted to stop before we get to the next piece. No other questions? Did anything pop up in the chat?
I haven't seen anything.
And I do see someone asked about the PowerPoint again. So that is at the very top of the chat. You'd have to scroll all the way to the top. So the last piece that you have that that in general what you're going to be using the microphone for is that there is a safety duress system built into this microphone. So you see the gentleman on the left, he has his fingers on the outside to the microphone. There are 2 buttons there. If you squeeze those buttons simultaneously for 3 seconds, it will set off a silent alert at the console in the front office. What does this look like? So you can either press the emergency red button or squeeze the buttons on the microphone. When you do those in the classroom, your receiver goes all red. In the office, they get a loud alarm. They get a map of the school with the room highlighted, and they have to click a button that says acknowledge. And so once they click the acknowledge button, your receiver actually changes to green, red, green. That will allow you to be able to see that, yes, a person got my signal. So first I know I sent for help because they all went red, and now I know a person has received that signal. And so that kind of changes the way we handle things when we know help is on the way. That process from once they click acknowledge for your campus is going to be determined by the administration. So most campuses, it goes like this. A teacher press the alert, they press acknowledge, they get on the walkie-talkies and they say silent alarm, room 115, and everybody who has a walkie-talkie just goes to that room. So help is on the way. That's the rule of thumb. At the same time that is happening at the front desk, a text message and emails go out to whoever's been assigned to receive those for your campus. So we have redundancy in the alert system. So if the principal was actually in the hallway and not at his desk, he could actually conceivably get the text message before that person could even tell them on the walkie-talkie that there's been a silent alarm and make it to that room in seconds. Just so you're understanding, in the front office, this is kind of what it looks like. You'll see the map with the room highlighted. The acknowledge button is right there. These other buttons are programmable, so they may or may not have them. But it tells them the room number and the date and time that it was pressed. And when you do press that button, it will bring up the fisheye from your camera in the classroom. So they will be able to see into the room and know exactly where or what's kind of going on. They'll be able to see, is there a kid on the floor and it's a medical thing, or is there a fight, or is it an adult? So, maybe it's an angry parent or something to that effect. So they'll be able to relay that information live to the response team with the walkie-talkies. The other question I normally get is what if I'm not in my room? And so it does work slightly differently if you're not in your room. So let's say I am not the teacher in the gym, but I'm in the room 219 at the top. So when I'm in the gym, that is not going to register in room 219. Like I said, when you pair it, it will ignore the audio, but actually every receiver can see every microphone that's in range of it. So when you do a safety alert, it will actually ping the 5 closest receivers and draw circles based on signal strength. The stronger the signal, the smaller the circle. The weaker the signal, the larger the circle. And what that will do is basically create a Venn diagram where the circles all overlap as your approximate location. So if this was a safe alert from the teacher who works in room 219, you would be able to tell the admin team that there's a safe alert from the gym, and it's what's called a non-paired alert, meaning it's not the teacher who's in that room normally. So just keep that in mind. So your microphones will send safe alerts from anywhere inside the building. And I just jumped ahead, so the camera portion is all at the end of this as well. Are there questions on the audio or the safe? That was my whole presentation. So if there is, man, I'm seeing people download this really, it's like it's just showing me this really quick how many people have downloaded that PowerPoint. So I appreciate that I made it available there. I haven't done that before in the training. I never thought about it till today because I was told over and over to do the attendance link and to do the post-training survey. So I'm going to do that, post it in the chat as well, but I'm still available for questions.
Tony, is this a survey? This is a survey for your company, correct?
No, this is the one I got from, you want to post it? I got it from Monica.
Well, mine didn't post right. You posted.
Yeah, mine didn't post right either. So that's why I'm going to click on it and get the link out of my browser. Let's see. I was going to post mine and it just did the text as well.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the one I got from Monica.
So, if you have any questions for Tony, you can type them in the chat or you can ask him. Please make sure that you did the attendance if you haven't already, and please make sure that you do the evaluation for technology too. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, guys. If there's no questions, I'm going to end this unless somebody pops in really quick. So the survey that is the link that I just posted from where it says https://formsoffice.com. It starts with that. That's the one you want to use. And that's the one for your technology group. The PowerPoint is in the link. I'm going to post it one more time at the bottom here before I sign off, just so it's, there's the PowerPoint again. And I realized there was a lot of information. Don't feel like you're alone. Bib, I mean, you guys have one of the best support departments, and we've had a lot of people trained from IT to the coaches to the instructional technology department. You have a lot of support there. Like I said, you guys definitely have one of the best organizations I get to work with. I really enjoy your team, but it won't be the last time for me, and you definitely have a lot of other people available. There is also a lot of videos at pd.audioenhancement.com.
All right.
So if
No
you
other
go
questions?
there, you'll have it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if there's no other questions, then we are finished.
Yeah, we're done a little bit early too. So I always like to give time back to the teachers when I can.
I'll put the attendance link on there again.
Looks like we were up to 178 people. That's awesome. No way we could have gotten 178 people done at once any other way.
No. I guess there is some benefits to virtual.
It's definitely not the same, but it definitely, I mean, we're able to do some things differently. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Thank you guys.
Thank you.